correct.
Yeah, is it
So,
better now?
yeah, I think I can hear everybody. I hope you guys can all see my screen, and what you are seeing in front of your screen is actually the Amazon Web Services console. It is what is called as a console of Amazon Web Services. If you want to do anything in Amazon Web Services, probably this is the first place that you log in to do many things that you can do in Amazon. We'll come back to that. So thanks everyone for joining this class. This is my 8th Amazon class. My name is Cherian. I'm based in Philadelphia. I've been training in different IT technologies for the past 10 plus years, and I have almost 21 years of IT infrastructure experience. I came to US long back in 1998 through a company called Digital Equipment Manufacturers. I'm not sure how many of you know DEC. That is a company that has made servers and all in the past, and Digital was bought over by Compaq, and then later Compaq became HP. And I resigned from HP in 2002, and I joined one of the biggest financial companies. And from there on, you know, I've been working on different technologies. And one of the key things that I would still proud to say that, you know, in 2002, 2003, I was very fortunate to get into a project, an engineering project, where this financial company, Merrill Lynch, was about to implement virtualization technology. At that point in 2002, 2003, nobody even know what was virtualization. And I was very lucky that I got into that project and I started working on VMware ESX Server 2.5. There was 2.0. I didn't get a chance to work, but my first experience was with ESX Server 2.5. And then from that time onwards, I was working on virtualization VMware. I was part of their global implementation team, and we made a big environment for Merrill Lynch, and later Merrill Lynch became part of Bank of America. VMware has grown from 2.5 to 3 to 3.5 to 4, 4.1, then 5, 5.1, and now VMware is actually standing at vSphere 6. Long time. At the same time, I'm also a Windows Active Directory expert. I've been working on Windows from Windows 3.5, and that's how actually I came to US as a Windows NT administrator. I'm not sure how many of you know Windows NT 4.0 and all domains and backup domain controllers and primary domain controllers and stuff like that. Concept has still not changed a lot. Microsoft is still running Active Directory. It is still one of the most powerful enterprise networking application or database or directory, I would say. So the concepts and all is still same, and you know, but with some more modifications and all. That is what is actually Active Directory 2012 and all right now. And then, you know, so 2003, I started virtualization work. Nobody knew. Only large financial companies could afford that product. Or at least they were willing to try, I would say rather, because always financial companies are the one who always try the latest and greatest product because they have a lot of funding. They have a lot of money. They wanted to be up to date on technologies. So 2006, 2007 time period was probably the golden period of virtualization. Everybody was talking about virtualization. Virtualization has become a buzzword in the IT industry. Every company was started doing virtualization. There was so many questions. I'm not going to go back to that days where you know, big financial business managers, they come and ask, you know, is it safe? Is it secure? Is it fast? So many questions. But today, if you look at every company, you take any company, 90 to 90%, 95% of their entire servers are virtual machines. So the transformation of physical servers, building physical servers and configuring that all is gone. Virtualization is still improving. So 2007, 2006, 2007 is actually, I would say, the peak time of virtualization. Everybody was trying to do it. If you look for any job opportunities or anything, you can always see that even if you're going for a programming, Java programming or .NET programming, or you talk about IBM WebSphere or WebLogic, any application, middleware, databases, any requirements, if you look in DICE or Monster at that time, you always probably end up seeing a particular requirement at the bottom that says understanding or knowledge of virtualization, a must or a plus. Sometimes it says must. Initially it was saying understanding of virtualization was a plus. Later it became a must. And today's world, if you don't know virtualization, you cannot get into many companies because everything is running on virtualization. So it's very important to understand how virtualization works, because your applications, your servers, they're all going to run on virtualized platforms. So the performance and stability and redundant, all that things matters when you're running. Is it going to really perform well? So you need to change your way of deploying applications, way of managing the application, since the platform is changed to virtualization. So up until that time, nobody knew about cloud. There was no such term called cloud. The only cloud that we all know is what we look upside, you see the clouds. That is what cloud was for everybody up until 2008. 2008, 2009 time period, cloud has become a topic. People started talking about cloud. We all started seeing Facebook and Twitter and things like that started coming up, and cloud was growing, but it was still not that in that high momentum. But 2011, 12, 13 time period was, I would say, like the golden period of cloud. Everybody was talking about cloud. A lot of applications came. Salesforce made a huge, tremendous impact into that industry, where so many applications. That is where you started seeing Google Docs, Google Drive, Dropbox, Box, whole lot of things started coming. Office 365 started coming. Everything is cloud-based. Applications are started coming up. You take your phone and look at all your mobile application. You can see how that dramatically the changes are happening in the industry now. Then you started hearing about Airbnb. You started hearing about Uber and many services coming up. StubHub, cloud-based, application. You can book your tickets, you can book your hotels, everything is coming out as cloud-based applications. So during this time period, there are certain companies that were focusing on developing cloud. I will come back to what is cloud, but just let us just talk about cloud. So this so-called cloud, Amazon was one of the companies that decided to make a huge jump into this technology, and they started developing their own cloud-based data centers. And they spin up a separate division for cloud computing, and that division is called as Amazon Web Services. It is owned by the same company that we all know, Amazon.com, but Amazon.com itself, how big and how efficient they are delivering. Today in most of the cities in United States, if you book or order a piece, you may sometimes even get it on the same day. In fact, some of the the meat products, milk and egg and all, you can get it on the same day delivery. So perfect, so fast, no mistakes. It's not easy. It is not easy to do something like that, and they need a huge infrastructure for that. And that infrastructure is actually what actually was the back end, or the entire thing that made Amazon to think about their own cloud infrastructure. So Amazon Web Services was born based on that. Today, Amazon Web Services is the #1 cloud providers in the industry. There is no competitors for that, and probably that is the reason why you are all here to learn or understand what the heck is this Amazon Cloud. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the research industry called Gartner. Gartner is one of the most famous and the most reputed research institute in United States, which basically do research and study and publish reports based on technology. And Amazon has, Gartner has something called as, this is called as a Gartner's Magic Quadrant. Very famous terminology. So if you are getting into cloud, or if you are getting anything, if you are an Oracle DBA, there is a Magic Quadrant for databases. There is a Magic Quadrant for web services. There is a Magic Quadrant for platform as a service. There is a Magic Quadrant for infrastructure as a service. Everything has Magic Quadrant. That is the research report that Gartner produces. Just want to take a little time to explain this. This is very interesting. This is how you guys should, going forward, analyze a product. When somebody says something, I say you should not take that. You should always go and look at and see what Gartner is talking about. Now, I'm not saying you should blindly believe Gartner. There are a lot of controversies on that also. But most of the enterprise companies, the big managers, the CTOs and CEOs, they always go with this. And that is how they make their decision. Okay, what product we should go for, which route we should go for. Does it make sense to go work with that company? This report, now these reports are very good. You should read these reports. This is just the Magic Quadrant, the diagram. But based on this, there is a 20, 40 page documentation on how these companies are performing, what all things Gartner has looked into, and their analysis. Okay, so this graph has an X and a Y axis. You can see that ability to execute is what on this axis, and completeness of vision is on this axis. So if you look at this, you can see that Amazon Web Services is, AWS is on the top in the leaders quadrant. These are called each quadrants. They have name for each quadrant: leaders, challengers, niche players, and visionaries. You can see that many players here. If you look at 2000, so I just wanted to take a moment here and show you something here. I'm just trying to show you Magic Quadrant from previous years. So let's look at something here. Look at this Magic Quadrant here. It is actually of 2015. No, this is not correct. This is for something else. This is not for, this is for disaster recovery, I think. Let's look at something here. All right, look at this one. I hope you guys can see this. You can see here 2014. Look at 2014 and 2015. These are the two reports. You can see that there were many more players, and there were many players in this, you know, in the niche players sections. But look at the 2016 one. You can see only Google in the visionaries and only 2 companies in here. So what is this means is, there were so many companies that got into cloud business, but many of them couldn't even survive, and many companies got merged. You know, I'm not going to, CenturyLink is actually formed now. CenturyLink is there. It is actually now 4 cloud companies clubbed together. IBM software is still in the market. VMware is struggling to get into this market. Fujitsu is there. Rackspace is one of the leaders in the cloud when they started in 2013, 2012. Rackspace was one of the leaders. But look at what Amazon is, and they are way, way ahead of everybody else. And I'm not exaggerating. The report from Gartner says this, and this is something that you all should listen very carefully, okay? The 2016 report from Gartner says The capacity of Amazon Web Services is 10 times bigger than the total capacity of the nearest 10 competitors. So you can imagine how big is Amazon Web Services is. The capacity of Amazon is 10 times bigger than the nearest 10 rivals, including Google, Microsoft, Rackspace. You club all these guys together, Amazon is so powerful. Now, Microsoft has made significant improvements after 2012. They invested a lot of money. That was a big company, global company. They had data centers across the world. Any country you take in the world, they have Microsoft products. They have people, they have sales forces. So it was very easy for them to get into this market and move very fast. In the 3 years, the amount of distance that Microsoft has jumped is outstanding. And I would say Microsoft Cloud, Azure, there is quite some ways people pronounce that. I normally say Azure. So Microsoft Azure is another cloud platform that you can really bet on. I'm very sure that is going to become another big cloud company in the future. Already there, many companies are looking into it, many companies are using it. So what I'm saying is, in the end of the day, in the next 3 years, there will be only 4 or 5 cloud companies, major cloud companies. The rest all is going to die. And these 4 or 5 companies are going to run this entire world, the next generation world, the next generation technologies. And the way, the exceptional way the technology is moving, you cannot even imagine how fast technology is moving. So Microsoft is definitely a bet. But today, I would say Amazon is no doubt the number one, and they keep on going to grow. So it definitely makes sense to learn Amazon Web Services than any other cloud from my perspective. It doesn't mean that you should not learn anything else. If you can learn Microsoft, I would say that is also good. I have started working in my company. We are also looking at Microsoft Cloud. Now you may be wondering, why are you looking at Microsoft Cloud? Why are you looking only at, why can't you stay with Amazon Web Services? See, one of the reason we are looking for that, I will tell you. If you have a data center, a primary data center in New York, you will have a disaster recovery data center somewhere in Atlanta or Texas somewhere, right? Why do you need that? Because if something happens, a 9/11 like an accident happens or a natural calamity happens, something happens, you want some place to fail over. You don't want to have your business get stopped because of that issue. So you want to move to another data center. And that is what disaster recovery is. That itself is a big topic. That itself is a cloud specific section. I will get into that when we get into that. It is called as DR as a service, disaster recovery as a service, one of the major legs of cloud computing today. I don't want to get into that. We will talk as we proceed in the class. But what I'm saying is, so every company has a DR site or a disaster recovery site. If primary production site goes down, they will have another data center to bring up all their servers and applications. So now companies are looking at, okay, I am moving to cloud. I'm going to go to Amazon. What happens if something goes wrong with Amazon? That is why companies are looking at, or in the company that I'm working, we are now looking at Microsoft. Can I use Microsoft as a failback? Because Microsoft is also doing good. And there are some advantages of using Microsoft in certain ways. Some features that are available in Amazon is not available in Microsoft, and vice versa. Some that are available in Microsoft is not available in Amazon. Anyway, you look at that, the leaders quadrant, there is only 2 major companies today. As of 2016, these are the 2 players, and you can see where they are. You have to measure the distance here. How far here in this x-axis makes a big difference, and how far height it is on this y-axis, that makes a difference. Look at where Google is. Google is far behind these 2 guys. And look at the difference here itself. Microsoft and Amazon has a big difference. Now, if I keep talking, there is a lot to talk. Anyway, so this is Amazon Web Services. They are the #1 leaders. If you get a chance, I would say go to Google and search for Gartner's IaaS. It is called as Infrastructure as a Service, IaaS report. You type Gartner's IaaS report for 2016. You get this report. Sometimes you may have to sign up, but you can read the entire stuff, and they talk about all these clouds and what they provide, and there's a lot of information you get. So IaaS means Infrastructure as a Service. We'll talk about that. That is just one part of cloud computing. So what I am going to teach in this course is Amazon Web Services. What is Amazon Web Services? What are the things that we can learn from this? There are so many things here. Am I going to teach all these things? No, absolutely not. There are certain things that are not meant for an administrator kind of a person or an application guy. There are many things that are meant for databases. There's so many things are there. So what I'm teaching, what I'm covering, all that things I will talk about it. So Amazon has certification. So after this course, you will be eligible to take 2 certification. Now again, it's all up to you as an individual. If you are interested, you can actually go and take 2 of the certifications that Amazon is offering, which is called as AWS Solutions Architect Associate. That is the first paper. And the second one is called as AWS Solution Architect Professional. These 2 courses, these 2 certifications you can definitely take after finishing my course. Now this course starts from the very, very, very basic. As I'm started talking, what is cloud, how it is formed, what are the history behind it. I will be talking quite a lot of things, and then we will start on the simple basic things, and then we'll get on to architecting the cloud infrastructure. Architecting the cloud infrastructure means there is still a lot of things, but just wanted to show you a picture here. So this is an architecture diagram of a multi-tiered application in Amazon Cloud. Each of these boxes represents certain services. You can see that there are load balancers here, DNS here, storage here, web servers here, application servers here, databases there. That is what a multi-tiered, a 3-tier application means. How do you deploy? How do you manage this? What is it different? How is it different from your normal day-to-day activities that you see in your data centers? What makes companies to look at cloud? Why are they moving to cloud? What is the advantages of cloud? What are the risk factors in moving to cloud? All these things we will discuss. And I think that discussion will become more productive when you guys keep asking questions, okay? So David is asking a question, what kind of background do you have to possess to get the most values out of this course? Now, if you are working in a company, whether you are a developer, whether you are a DBA, whether you are an application, IBM database guy, you are a Cisco networking guy, or you are a Windows admin, it doesn't matter. A couple of days back, there is a person, I don't know whether he is in the class, he called and said, I'm fed up of what I'm doing now. I wanted to get into cloud. So I said, boy, getting into cloud means you got to understand what you're going to do in cloud. There is a lot of things you can do in cloud. You can work as an administrator, you can work as a developer, you can work as a DevOps admin. DevOps is another big thing which I will talk. So there is a lot of things you can do in cloud, and you cannot do everything. Cloud is a big environment. You cannot learn all that things. So his goal, this guy who called me, he wanted to become an architect. And I was telling him, there is no course in this world that makes you an architect. I don't think anyone can become an architect by taking a course. Because to become an architect, the only thing that you can do is do more work and gain more experience. Only an experienced person, again, an experience means, working in one technology for 25 years is not going to make you an architect from a multi-tiered application perspective. You got to know more things about your company. For example, this guy, he was working for a pharmaceutical company. And I asked him, do you know anything about how your company do the business? If you are and he said he's a IBM data power application guy. He was doing something. I think he do some SQL programming also, reporting. But he don't know anything about how that company's business happens. So if you want to really become an architect, you got to learn and understand how the company works. Don't just focus on you're doing, okay, you join a company, they may be paying you and they ask you to do some job and you go there every day morning as a cookie cutter, you're doing the same thing every day. Maybe, David, I'm not pulling you, but I'm just telling you're a database admin. Your job is coming there, back up the databases, create some jobs, tune the databases, apply patches to SQL servers, and when there is some problems, try to troubleshoot with the developers. But are you really put effort to understand what that database is, which application uses that database is, how the customers using that? So from a business perspective, how much interest you are showing. So that is very important to become an architect. Because an architect is a person who I would say should have a complete vision of every aspect of that business. That includes networking, that includes storage, that includes servers, that includes operating systems, that includes applications, that includes the business logic, what the business is, who the customers are, everything you should do. The more you know, you can be more confident and you can talk better in big meetings and all, and you can present your recommendations there. That's how you become an architect. Now, my course here is called Architecting AWS Cloud Infrastructure. So you may be wondering, what the heck is this guy saying? Everybody should learn everything to become an architect. I'm not saying that. I'm now saying architecting Amazon Cloud. Architecting Amazon Cloud means how do you see, if you want to design something like this, you should know a lot of other things. You need to know some cloud-based databases. You need to know about cloud-based load balancers. It is not no more the load balancers that you see in your office like F5 load balancers or NetScalers. No, that is not the load balancer in Amazon. It is not the servers, it is not the databases that you see in cloud. It is all little different. It is deployed different. They are running on different locations, maybe in different countries. How can you take really advantage of it? There are different type of storage technologies are there. In your company also, that there are SAN storage, local storage, iSCSI storage, fiber channel storage, SSD, solid state drives now. Or EMC's word, we'd say the Unity, the newest AMC storage array is called Unity. It's an old flash. The entire storage array is flash. SSD drives. You get outstanding performance when you run applications on that. When you move to cloud, how do you decide those things? So my course here is absolutely focusing on making you understand the in and out of Amazon's cloud infrastructure. For example, let's say your company, and now believe me, every company is very actively looking at Amazon now or Microsoft, because they are seeing a lot of people are moving and there is a lot of advantages to it. There is a lot of cost savings to it. That is why they are looking into it. Not only that, you can also get a lot of other great features and capabilities. You don't have to buy or invest a lot of money to get those things. You can pay a little and you can take advantages of that. I don't know how many of you know about CapEx and OpEx. Capital expenditure and operational expenditure. CapEx is the amount of money that you need to spend before you start doing anything. For example, you are going to start, let's say David is going to start a company to develop some application. He has came up with a great idea. He came up with a great idea, but the problem now is he need to buy probably like 40 or 50 Windows servers. He need to pay for the license. He need to buy SQL Server databases. He need to buy licenses for that. He need to buy servers. He need data centers. He need to hire database administrators, Windows administrators, network administrators. Huge amount of investment. That is what is called a CapEx, capital expenditure. You buy all that things, get everything, hire all your employees, and then start developing your application. Today, David don't have to do that. David can simply go to Amazon or Microsoft Cloud and start using his application servers, databases, everything, and start developing the product right from day one, and you just pay for what you are using, pay as you go model. So capital expenditure is zero there, whereas operational expenditure is there. As you're operating, you pay for it. You also don't have to hire too many database administrators. You can have one or two database admins who can focus on the data and the productivity of that. Forget about patching the database servers, installing the SQL servers, configuring the Microsoft clustering and failing over of the cluster and all those headaches, backups, restores, encryption. You don't have to worry about that. If there is a company who can do that for you on a very small amount, then why don't you take advantage of that? You getting what I'm saying, David? So you really don't have to have any background to learn this, but if you have some enterprise knowledge, if you already know these things, it is going to add on it. You're going to all your learning so far, whatever you've done is going to be added. And now your company, for example, I'll tell you again, you both are DBAs or SQL developers. Unfortunately, I cannot tell what company I work for because of the privacy reasons. But the company that I'm working right now, we moved around 20% of our production workload to cloud, Amazon, and they are right now working in Amazon. And believe it or not, the responses that I am getting from different business managers is that the performance is fantastic. Everything is fantastic. The developers are loving it. They are started coming to asking, hey, Cherian, can we use this? Hey, can we do that? What is this? Are you familiar with this? I heard there is a technique like this in cloud. Can we take advantage of that? Awesome. There are capabilities. If it is in your company, that you won't be able to do that, because now your company has to purchase that software, install it. You need Windows Server admins or Linux administrators to set up that whole thing. But in cloud, it's already there and you start using it. So our DBAs, I'm just giving an example here, guys. Okay. So our database administrators, they were, first of all, they were scared. Oh man, am I going to lose my job? No. Windows administrators were afraid, am I going to lose the job? There is definitely, that is why you got to learn. Technology is moving. Tomorrow, if that's why I'm saying, if you don't know cloud, if you have to learn. And somebody said it is the future. No, sorry, it is not the future. It is the present. Cloud is a reality now. Now, whatever you're going to see is only going to be the enhancements in cloud, and more things are happening. See, driverless cars are there now. What else you want? Maybe, the technology is moving very fast. Look at the latest phones. What else you can do? Everything. IoT, you might have, I don't know how many of you know about Internet of Things. Look at this. Connect devices to the cloud. When I come to my gate, my garage door opens automatically. When I step onto the step, my door opens. As soon as I get into the family room, the lights come on. My coffee will be getting ready. My heater is getting on. When I move to bedroom, the lights on the family room is getting to a dim. If it didn't rain for 2 days, my plants will automatically get water. It's all connected through internet. It knows the weather conditions. It knows what happens. If it rains, it won't water the plants. Can you imagine that kind of things? That is what is Internet of Things are happening. Everything is getting connected, and it is moving fast. So there is no question about it that cloud is going to be the next 10 years. And the earlier you jump into it, better you are. And there is a lot to learn. The class that I am going to teach is actually the platform, because you are going to understand what is, because there is a lot of, that's what I'm saying. And when you become an architect, whether you are a DBA, whether you are a developer, whether you are a system admin, you have to learn everything from the root. If you don't know what are the components of Amazon data center, what are the components behind the servers, what are the load balancing techniques, what are the storage techniques, how the permissions are. You have a server and you're trying to connect your application server from your database server. You're not able to connect. You are not able to ping. How do you troubleshoot it? If you don't know the infrastructure, you are lost. You never can become an architect. You never can go into a company and talk. Somebody talks, you just listen and you do the same thing. No, that should not be the way. You have to change your way. Now, in your companies, I know most of you guys are working in some companies, or some people are fresh, and I know you are looking for jobs and you wanted to learn this. Either way, if you look at a company, today, you can see that there are networking admins, server admins, storage admins, database administrators, application administrators, security administrators, and so on. And every team has so many teams. In my office, we have like 20 plus Windows VMware admins. We have around 7 or 8 storage administrators. We have like 15 plus database administrators. Every team is big and they work as individual silos. So you say, I'm a storage admin, I'm a network admin, I'm a database admin, I'm an application admin, I'm a WebSphere admin, I'm a data power admin, name it. But when you go to cloud, there is no such roles. There is no database admin. There is no server admin. I would say in cloud, I mean, it may be a little high level I'm talking, but still, I would say in cloud, there is only one admin, and that is called as a cloud administrator. A cloud administrator is a person who know how to build servers, who know how to create the networks, who know how to provision and deploy storage, who know how to create load balancers, who know how to create databases and database servers, who know how to deploy applications, who know many things. Now that is where you need to decide, okay, hey, I now know all the things. Let me now focus on certain things. DevOps is the next. A lot of people come to me. We do provide trainings. I don't know how many of you seen my training site. See, as I said, it's a 10-year process. This is not that something that I came up one day. I've been training VMware by sending, go-to-meeting invite to individual people and all for 10 years. I might have taught probably around 1,000 people so far, and many of them are in very good positions. And they still contact me. And even in this class, I think 1 or 2 of you guys are already attended my VMware classes. So as time progressed, and I also decided, it's a good thing to teach something good, find some good teachers. And we do, so I just started this training thing. I take many of these classes by myself. VMware Vcloud Air, this is a class that I did two times and then I stopped, because VMware Cloud, I would say at this point, is not a very hot thing. Windows Server and Active Directory is something that I used to teach, but now I have a different person who's going to train 2012 and Active Directory. This will be changed in a week's time. We're going to start Windows Server 2012 and Active Directory. That guy is actually a senior architect in Microsoft who's having 20 years of experience, good teacher. So he is going to take that class. One of the hottest class is these two classes, Advanced Oracle DBA, where rack and grid and all you can see. You can go to the solvensys.com and see Mr. Nukala. He is actually working for Capital One for almost 15 years experience, very senior architect who is training. And this class is very deep about databases, talking about rack and grid and all that things. Advanced Linux and Professional DevOps is taken. This class is running full. Actually, in fact, last batch we have to, there was some people who came and we have to told them to wait. This class is taken by Sharad. I think Girish has took this class. He can probably say how good this class is. This is taken by Sharad, a very experienced, excellent teacher, a man behind one of the major blog, Linux blog site called /root.in. This entire blog site is handled by him. He's been writing in these blogs for past 10 years or something, and he's outstanding. He is now joining Facebook, actually, in fact. So he's taking this class. This is a big class, divided into two sections, Advanced Linux and Professional DevOps 100. The first part is completely about Linux and Advanced Linux, starting from very basic to Advanced Linux. And the second part is all about DevOps. Now, the reason I came here to talk about is DevOps. DevOps is one of the hottest topics in the IT industry now. It's basically cloud automation. So if you guys don't know this enterprise culture, just forgive me, I just wanted to talk. So for in a company, many of you know, you have a, let's say your company is having an online application that where people can go and buy products or sell products or whatever. It is, when you see a website, it is simple website, but in the back there is a lot of things, databases, application servers, load balancers, analytics, reporting, lot of things is there. And there are different environments, development environment, QA environment, UAT environments, and then production. So there are release management teams are there that follows certain process, ITIL process and all. So every time they want, the Windows administrators will build servers for them, or Linux administrators will build servers for them. Then they will install applications for them. Then the application admins will configure those applications. The release management team will release and deploy the new patches and new codes and things like that, and that's how you phase by phase you move this application. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of people. But today with DevOps, you can automate the entire thing in Amazon Cloud. If you are a developer or if you're an application admin, starting from building a server, let it be a Linux Red Hat server or a Windows 2012 server, starting from building that server, installing the application, configuring the application, deploying the code and releasing it from one environment to another is all done automatically. And that is done through DevOps. And there are many tools that are there which need some scripting capabilities and all. But before that, you need to really understand, if you are going to DevOps in Amazon Cloud, you need to understand the cloud infrastructure. Then only you can do these things, what is what and where to put your stuff. So there are so many things are there in this thing. So one of the main thing is Puppet. Puppet is a very famous tool. Chef, that is another configuration management tool. Docker is a huge thing nowadays. Docker and Docker containers or containerization. Amazon has that big thing in their environment, which is called as EC2 containers. Ansible, and there is so many things. That is what actually Sharath is teaching. And the training that I am doing is actually architecting Amazon AWS Cloud Infrastructure. This course covers, I'll talk about in general about AWS. Then we get on to the storage, how the different type of storage technologies are available there. Because if you're going to deploy an application or if you're going to build a database, you need to know what type of storages are. Otherwise, your database won't work. If you are seeing a slowness, you cannot simply look at the sky and see what happened to my thing. I didn't do anything wrong, but your application is still not performing. Maybe you put it in a wrong storage. So as a good DBA, as a good application owner, you should know the underlying storage, where it is, what it is. And that is what makes you an architect. That is what makes you to grow above and all beyond any of your team members. And that is what I am trying to teach you here. Then networking, how to create networks, how to create subnets, how to create load balances, a lot of things. And then identity and access management. How do you access this? How do you provision people? How do you give permissions? How do you create users and manage them? Can you integrate this with your company's Active Directory, federation services? How do you do that? How do you implement VPN connectivity? Can you have VPN to Amazon? Can you have a direct connect to Amazon? Can you extend your Amazon cloud infrastructure as an extension to your office? Is it possible? How do you secure it from many, many different type of attacks? And that is what I am going to teach in this class, Architecting AWS Cloud Infrastructure. So this thing that you are seeing here is the Amazon Web Services console, and this is called as a console. You can always click on this button. I will show you how to do it. We will be providing lab. I will tell you how to do this, how you can connect, and you will be working with me on the same time. If you are joining this class, I want each one of you to take an Amazon account. Don't worry, it will not take your money. It might cost you $5 or $10 at the maximum, even if you do use every day. So feel free, because you need to have your own account. I cannot provide an account. A lot of people ask me, am I providing a lab? Okay, for my VMware lab, those who know that I have one of the biggest VMware lab here. I have almost 12 plus servers, all HP ProLine DL servers in my house. People connect to it, they build, they can start and stop and do whatever they want on the server. They are real servers. But I don't have Amazon Cloud in my house. Amazon Cloud is in Amazon's data centers. So everybody should know how to connect. So I want everybody to take an account, and I will walk you through the process. And I'm telling you, it will not cost you more than $5 or $10 monthly. If you're not using it, it will be like $0. So as I teach, I want you guys also to start using your environment and practice and do whatever you think. And if you have a problem, we will work this together in the class. We will do that. So when it comes to Amazon Web Services console here, you see a lot of things here. Now, as I mentioned, am I teaching all these things? No, absolutely not. There is too many things. And remember, last year in 2015, Amazon released around 400 new things. 400 new capabilities and features. Microsoft also not bad. I was listening to one of the videos 2 days back from an architect, and he said Microsoft this year itself has released already 600 plus changes. So things are changing. Things are changing. New features, new capabilities, new techniques, new methods are coming day by day. If you get into certain things, if you get into Amazon, certain things, EC2 and all, you can see that many things may be in preview mode. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know, if you look here, sometimes you can see some stuff, it will show as preview mode. So what are we learning here? What am I going to cover here? So if you look at this carefully, you can see that it's a good thing. Amazon has clubbed and grouped everything into different sections. The first thing is actually the compute. Just a question here. I know everybody is keeping quiet for some time. What is compute? Anybody? Can anybody answer for that? What is a compute means? Vamsi, you want to say?
Yeah, compute is, I would say all the servers, on which your application runs, or that is the compute. You have storage. When you have storage, network, and then compute. Compute is where all your servers are located.
Okay, no problem. So not very correct, Vamsi, but I really appreciate you jumping in. That is how you learn. So you answered. You are 200% better than all others who kept quiet, right? So you said something and you are partially correct. But Pavan has actually put the answer here correctly. Compute is actually the combination of, in cloud terminologies, compute means, or in virtualization technology, compute means the power of CPU and memory. Your processing and your memory power together is called compute. So if somebody say my compute power, means they're talking about CPU and memory only.
Thank you.
Now, VMware, so I just wanted to show you here, I have a VMware ESX server here. VMware ESX, how many of you heard about this? VMware ESX, this is a 5.5 server. I'm actually teaching 6 now. So whatever, what is ESX means? Anybody know? I mean, I'm not asking the full form of ESX, but virtualization. What is virtualization? VMware has virtualization, Microsoft has Hyper-V, Citrix has a Zen server. What is ESX or a hypervisor means? What is it actually provides? It actually provides compute, okay? It will actually allow you to make a computer, a VM, a virtual machine, which has memory and CPU. So if you look at this particular server, if you look at this, you can see that it is an HP ProLine DL380 Generation 6 server. It has 8 CPUs, 2.4 gigahertz processing power. It has 4 of that processes. You know, you will learn what these things as we go forward. What is a socket? What is a core? These are things that you need to know. Even if you are a developer, if you are a database admin, you have to know that, because that is how the licensing. For example, a DBA. You know, David, you may know. You know, SQL Server licensing is one of the most confusing thing in the world, and you know, IBM licensing is even worse. And you know, if you don't do that correctly, you end up paying a lot of money. Yeah. So, right? Yeah. So this is the reality, you know, that's how companies make money. So it is very important that you need to understand these things and terminologies very well, you know, logical, what is a core, what is a socket. Anyway, I'm not going to talk all those things. That is part of virtualization part, but you can see that this particular server has 32 gig of memory. It has 8 processors and all, and it is running so many VMs and they have memories, they have CPUs. So that is all getting shared by using a technology called virtualization, but not storage. So what I'm trying to tell you here is virtualization, when we talk about VMware, ESX or Microsoft Hyper-V, it is about compute. They are giving you virtual machines that can give you CPU and memory. But storage, that means your hard disk, means where you store your data, was never virtualized. It was still, you still need your EMC SAN storage or NetApp filers or storage, you still needed in the backend. There was no technology available to virtualize storage. You still needed Cisco switches and complex routers and things like that was still needed, even if you have a big virtualized environment. Even if your company is having VMware ESX servers and you have thousands of VMs, you still need Cisco switches. You still need EMC SAN storage or NetApp storage and all those things. So what I'm trying to tell you is storage was never virtualized. Networking was never virtualized fully. But over the last 3-4 years, technology has changed and they were able to virtualize storage as well as networking. I'm not going to get into the deeper side of it, but just for the class purpose, I just wanted to talk 2 more things. VMware has a product called NSX. It is called not ESX, it is called as NSX. NSX is actually the technology that allows you to virtualize networking. Compute is already done. CPU and memory is already virtualized using ESX. NSX will virtualize networking. Now you can extend your data centers. There is a lot of concepts there. You can have your layer 3 protocols can be extended between multiple data centers, geographical failovers and things like that. Geo-clustering and all is possible because of NSX. I'm just talking from a VMware perspective. NSX is VMware's implementation of network virtualization. Then storage was virtualized, and VMware has a product for that is called as vSAN. vSAN. They were able to virtualize storage. So now a computer means it has 4 legs, or virtualization means actually 4 legs. That is actually CPU, memory, that is RAM, networking, and storage. These are the 4 legs of you need in order to make a computer fully working. But virtualization, VMware, ESX and all was not covering these 2 aspects. But now there is technologies available to virtualize this. And when all these 4 things are virtualized, people started talking about a new terminology which is called as SDDC. Anybody heard about this? Anybody? SDDC, very thing. If you watch many videos and things like, you might have heard about this word SDDC. Anybody in this class? No?
No, I haven't.
Is it software defined data center?
That's right. SDDC means software defined data center. Software defined data center means it's a concern. Cisco has it, everybody is having it. That means everything is virtualized, and that is what actually makes this cloud things possible. Amazon, if you take it, AWS, you take it, it is actually an SDDC. It's a software defined data center. Your networking is virtualized, your storage is virtualized, your compute is virtualized. Okay? And we will learn all that things. That is why I wanted to get into it. So SDDC stands for Software Defined Data Center. So things are virtualized. So virtualization is still the backbone. So, I always say, people, it is like a boxes you're stacking, anything. If you talk Amazon Cloud, or if you take Microsoft Cloud, this is how it goes. You first need to have a good understanding of your real physical servers. This will be an HP server or a Dell server that has CPUs, that has memory, that has network cards, that has a lot of storage attached to it. This is your physical hardware. Even today it is needed. Without this it is not possible. But on top of this physical hardware, we have now different virtualization technologies are available, like VMware vSphere. You can virtualize these hardware. You can virtualize CPU, memory using ESX or any kind of a hypervisor. You can virtualize your networking using NSX or something similar to that. You can virtualize your storage using vSAN or many other technologies. So you just virtualize all these things. And once you virtualize all these things, you get a lot of capabilities, because once it virtualized, it is nothing but a set of files. A virtual machine is nothing but a set of encapsulated files. This VM, just wanted to show you, I don't know how many of you know VMware, but I just wanted to show you. This is actually a VM here, a virtual machine here. You see here, you can see that it is a Windows 2012 or 2008 server. I think I have it here. Let's see. Yeah, it's a Windows Server 2008 VM. I can log into it. You can see that people are connected to it. It is another server. So what is this server? This server is basically nothing but a set of files. So it is in this hard drive of this server. In this server, in this particular storage, 031. If you go to this server, you don't have to worry about what I'm doing here. But I just wanted to show you here. If you go here, see IBM Cognos, there's a folder for that server. And there is some files. Believe me, guys, these files makes that server. You can copy this into a USB stick. You go to China or you go to India or you go to Nepal, anywhere. You are carrying a server. Can you imagine that 10 years back? You have to get into a data center and carry that big 100-pound server in your head and walk out. That's not possible now. I mean, never possible. But today, a VM is nothing but a set of files. And this was one of the biggest concerns initially in 2003, 2004. If it is just a files, is it safe? My servers can be stolen. But believe me, once you learn VMware and things like that, it is not easy to get those files just like that. But anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is, since this is nothing but a set of files, you have more flexibility now. You can move VMs from New York to Atlanta or from Atlanta to Los Angeles. If a hurricane is coming and going to fall in New York, and New York is going to be blackout for next 3 days, companies can now prepare and they can move all their virtual machines from New York data center to Atlanta. Easy. They don't need a truck. They don't need any downtime. They can even move them without even powering it off. Without even the business knows that you moved the servers. Believe me, guys, today, geographical migrations, this is called vMotion in VMware. I can move a running virtual machine from New York to London without even the people knowing it. Okay, that means I just wanted to tell you, this is New York data center and this is London. I have a web server that is running in, this is a web server running in New York, and thousands of people are connecting here to do purchases, credit card and all. I can move this VM right from here to here in London. This is New York. Believe me, this is London. In less than 2 minutes, this server is now running in London. These people don't even know that I moved it here. They don't even feel that I migrated that server. Isn't it great? It is. That is the power of virtualization. So that power has given you another big capability called agility factor. You can now move around things. That made cloud, because now in cloud you can do a lot more things. But understand, in the cloud the underlying platform is virtualization, and under that virtualization there are really servers, real physical servers, real physical storage. Everything is still there. Nothing is changed. So don't think that cloud is something that came just like that. But now everything is in cloud, the movement and all these things that you are doing, that is what we are learning. So now what I'm trying to explain here, or what I'm trying to come up here, is when you get onto this Amazon thing and you are making VMs and all, you can create VMs in Amazon, see virtual servers in the cloud. So here in this compute, you can go and create servers in Amazon. Can you create servers in air, in empty vacuum? No. So Amazon has some kind of a virtualization technology. Does anybody know what virtualization technology Amazon uses? Is it VMware's virtualization? Is it Microsoft, or is it something else? Anybody? What type of virtualization technology is powering Amazon cloud? That's my question.
I think my guess is probably VMware.
Okay. No, VMware is actually using, Amazon is actually using Citrix Zen servers. They might have some other thing, but 90% of their platform is running on Citrix Zen servers. VMware Cloud is completely VMware ESX servers. Microsoft Cloud is completely Hyper-V servers. Rackspace and few other companies are using, AT&T's cloud called Synaptics. They are using VMware. In fact, 4 of my VMware students 3-4 years back, they are still working in AT&T in Alfred, Georgia. And they're all working in AT&T cloud, and they are VMware experts. They started with VMware, now they are VMware cloud experts. So I'm just saying, every cloud platform need some kind of virtualization, and under that virtualization they need some kind of hardware. They need real processors, networks and stuff like that. So so when it comes to compute, when it comes to Amazon, they are divided all these things into different things. When it comes to compute, here is where you learn EC2. EC2 means EC2, that means 2C, E and 2 C's, that is what EC2 means. That means Elastic Compute Cloud. That is what EC2 stands for. We'll learn all that things later. When you get on to EC2, you can see there's a lot of things you need to learn. This itself is something, you need to know. If you are learning here, you need to understand, how to create a VM or a virtual machine in Amazon is called as an instance, how to start it, how to dedicate it, how to create volumes, how to create snapshot of it, how do you secure it, how do you attach IP addresses to it. A lot of things, load balancers, target, you can see there's a auto scaling, there's a lot of things you will be learning. This itself is a huge topic. Probably we'll be doing that for 2-3 days. Or 2 days maybe. EC2 container service. I mentioned earlier about Dockers and Docker containers. I won't be teaching this. This is all about DevOps. If you learn Docker containers and all, you can programmatically do containers and all runs on top of EC2s. So Elastic Beanstalk, it is again web apps developments and all, but if you want to learn how to Beanstalk work, you need to understand many other things here, which is something that I won't be covering. So in this main topic, the main thing in compute is, because understand again, I am teaching the infrastructure as a cloud, but once you learn these things, your interest, you can learn more things, or if you take the DevOps class, you will be learning that. But without understanding the platform, if you go and learn DevOps, I don't know how it works. Okay, that is a whole different scenario. I don't want to get into that. Coming to the storage and content delivery, Netflix is completely using Amazon. Everybody know. Mohan Subramaniam is asking, is AWS includes any coding? No. AWS includes coding? I should not say no. The topics that I am teaching, absolutely don't have any coding, but if you know some scripting, it's good. You can do a lot of things. DevOps, no coding, more scripting. But if you are going into, developer tools, you go into create code deploy and code pipelines, and you're getting into Beanstalk and all, you may want to learn developer, because these are developer tools, which is Amazon is providing all that. If you are a programmer, you may be focusing your time on these kind of things. Or you get on to analytics, pipelines and kinesis and things like the machine learning. These are all developer tools. So AWS definitely has coding for their certain services, but as an infrastructure, as a DevOps person, you don't need to do any coding. Does that make sense, Mohan? So we will get on to storage. I will be covering storage S3. S3 means 3 S's. Simple storage service, very, very famous storage technique, totally a different new technique into the whole industry. It is an object-based storage. What is it different? How is it different from other storage technology? What makes it so popular? It is like 99, actually according to Amazon, this storage is like 99.99999. I'm not drawing all that, 11 nines this is. That is the level of reliability and redundancy and all they are saying, because they are 100% guaranteeing that if you store something there, it will not get lost. There is no storage problem, because it is getting replicated to many data centers. Now, what is that means? Replicating to many data centers. What is that means? How do they make sure that it is 99.99? And that is what I will be teaching. My course is about how that storage works. Where are their storage? How do they replicate the data? What is regions? What is zones? You need to understand many terminologies when it comes to Amazon. So when you learn Amazon infrastructure, you will know more about S3. We will get into that. S3 is another important topic on that. I'm just touching all that. I'm not going to go through. We'll talk about glaciers. We'll talk about snowball. We'll talk about storage gateways. These are all storage divided things. Coming to databases, I just wanted to quickly move. I don't want to take a lot of time here. So my plan is to actually finish by 11. Databases, RDS, David and Aaron, you both are DBAs or, working related to DBAs. You may be knowing Oracle database servers. You may be knowing SQL servers or MySQL. RDS is relational database services. Amazon is providing the databases for you. They are saying, don't worry, don't use your DBAs to work on your data and leave the management of the SQL servers or Oracle servers to us. Let us manage it. We will take care of the clustering. We will take care of the patching. We'll take care of the upgrades. We'll take care of the backups. We'll take care of the daily jobs. Everything will take. You guys use your DBAs to enhance your data and productivity. Use them to do that, or let them do more work on the data side. Why spending time on these things? So I don't need 5 DBAs here, but I need one person who know how to work on RDS. So if David or Aaron is learning, I told you cloud administrator is one cloud admin. He should know database. He should know servers. He should know networking. He should know storage. So RDS is not, simply not something you have to build it. You need to know how. When you get onto RDS, that itself is a complex, not complex, very interesting topic. You can create clusters. You can see that Amazon relational databases. Amazon relational database service makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale relational databases in the cloud. Very cost effective. But if your company is moving to Amazon, and if you say, hey, I know RDS, I know databases in cloud, how it works, I'm sure you get a preference, right? And that is what I think, David or Aaron should be looking from this. Okay, hey, I know what it is. I know how to set it up. Our DBAs were scared because they didn't know anything. We have to teach them, hey, come and learn this, this is how you need to do. So how to protect your databases, how to create all that, that is what it is, RDS. We'll talk about that. Now, you can still have your traditional way of databases in Amazon, okay? You can build a EC2 server, a Linux server or a Windows server, and then you can install SQL Server on it. In fact, Amazon provides the servers with SQL Server. I'll show you 1 minute. I'm just taking a route back here, guys. If you go to EC2 and you click on a launch instance, this is where you deploy servers. I actually wanted to show you. You can see that these are all different types, but I just want to show you here. You can see here, you can just click on this button, You will get a Windows Server 2012 R2 with SQL Server standard already there. You can build that server and you can use that SQL Server as your traditional standard SQL Server if you want to take that route. In fact, my company also did the same thing initially. Then we realized that are we fools? Why are we doing that? Why can't we take advantage of RDS? Why should I bother about clustering? Why should I, always my system administrators are getting called. Why that server failed? No more failures here. 100% uptime. Your data is safe. It's fast, encrypted. Why don't you use that? So we will learn how to do RDS. DynamoDB, MongoDB, I think many people may be hearing that, this is what actually powering the big data, non-SQL databases. So we will look into that. Elastic Cache, Redshift is all, I'm not teaching any of the, these things. Okay, Redshift and all is all databases, so I won't get into it, but I will be talking this and we can get into things, but I won't go so deep onto these things. Database migration services, this is actually a great product. We will talk about it. So DBAs can definitely take advantage of it, how to migrate databases from your on-prem data centers to cloud. This is a new feature. This came up probably like 5 months back. Amazon is offering, without any problems, real time, you can migrate your existing databases to cloud. Coming to networking, I told you the 4 legs. We talked about compute, CPU and RAM. We talked about storage here. We'll talk a little bit more. Storage comes in a different section. I'll talk about that elastic block storage and all. And now we're talking about networking, that last leg. How do you create data centers in Amazon? How do you design that? How do you create subnets? How do you create network permissions? How do you create route tables? How do you create endpoints, NATing, all that thing, VPN connections and all that thing? That is what is actually in the VPC, virtual private cloud. Maybe the biggest thing that you're learning from this course. How do you design your data center? So when my company, we were about to move to Amazon, where are we moving? I need to first build a data center. So I just want to show you a picture. Don't get, you know, I think I should not say that word. I'm not saying, don't go, man, this is complicated. Don't think that. I'm going to show you a picture. Don't worry about this. If you look at this picture, you may say, oh my God, my head is, going down. I don't even understand what the heck it is. This is actually an architecture diagram of a company that has two data centers in two places. I don't know where it is. This is actually in some location. I don't know where it is. Let's say this is in Atlanta and this is in New York. These are two data centers, corporate North America data centers. Data center 1, data center 2. This company has so many thousands of applications, users and servers and all is there, and they are looking into moving into cloud, and they already deployed in cloud, in Amazon Cloud. When you talk about Amazon Cloud, you need to understand where is it Amazon Cloud. Now you may be thinking, where the heck is this Amazon Cloud? And that is where you're going to learn about different regions, Amazon's different regions and stuff like that. We will be learning that. For example, here it is. AWS regions. Now you may ask him what the heck is a region. So we'll talk about that. I will explain what a region is. I will explain what an availability zone is. All that things you need to understand. Amazon is growing and keep on growing. So they have actually 3 regions in America. One is in Oregon, that is called as US West. There is another one is in California, again, Northern California. It is also called as US West 1 and US West 2. The biggest and the first and the most powerful Amazon's data center is in Virginia, which is called as US East. US East is a region. Within a region, there are many data centers, and those data centers are called as availability zones. And we will get into that, what an availability zone is in a minute. So just understand this US East, Northern Virginia, it is not a data center. It is a set of data centers. In fact, actually, they have 5 data centers in Northern Virginia spread across probably 100-mile area. They are not very close. They are spread across like 100 miles. Very well connected to high-speed fiber optic backbones. The latency between these data centers, okay, only in that region, you keep in mind, only in that Virginia region, there are 5 data centers owned by Amazon. The latency, the connectivity, the speed between these data centers are less than a millisecond. So that means you absolutely don't have any latency. That's how they deployed, and they have many data centers, many regions across the world. They have actually 2 of them now coming up in India. They have in Brazil. They have in every place is there. So we will get into that. We will learn how, what is a region, all that things we will learn later. Okay, I'm just trying to show you. So this design, if you look at it, you can see that, this is a VPC or a virtual private. You can see this something called VPC. Inside the VPC, you can see some icons that are called load balancers. You can see servers here. You can see subnets and networks and all lot of lines and all. Believe me, I can 200% guarantee you that if you attend my class with a passion and an interest, you will be able to talk about each and every piece of this picture confidently. That I can guarantee you. But again, you have to understand, that is what I am teaching. How do you design this network? This is why I said I am teaching architecting Amazon Cloud Infrastructure, because without knowing this data center, how do you architect this data center? Where should you put your servers? If you put all your servers in one of the data center in Virginia, and if that data center goes down, you will be fired next day. Your manager will ask, what the heck you did? You know, you went to cloud and now everything is gone down. So you should know where you should put your servers, how you should load balance them. And that is what I am training. That is what I am teaching. So in order to understand, you need to understand this design. And that is what is VPC is all about. Another picture of a VPC, it's here. It's a simple VPC diagram. You can see that multiple data centers, not one data center, but different availability zones. You can see, I'm not sure it is showing here, different zones. No, forget it. So there is some route table. So we will learn all these things. Believe me, you will understand every piece of this. That is how you are a DBA, you are an app admin. You can say, okay, I want one of my web server or app server, a WebLogic server should be in this subnet. Another WebLogic server should be in this subnet. So they are between two data centers. Now you are going to load balance them using a load balancer. You can do many things. So how do you do that? How do you design that? And that is what we will be learning as part of this section, VPC. Then we will learn about direct connect. Direct connect is like a fast connection from dedicated network, 1 gig, 500 Mbps dedicated connection to Amazon. Microsoft has something called as express route. Amazon is calling it as direct connect. You can also use your internet connection from your office to Amazon and build your environment using VPN. So, just to give you a little picture here. So, so just understand this is Amazon's cloud, and in Virginia, okay, I'm just only Virginia region. In Virginia region, there are many data centers, not many, I told you 5 of them, but I'm only drawing 3 of them. And these data centers are very well connected through high-speed fiber optic connections. They have other regions also, okay, Amazon has other region in Oregon, they have data centers there. They have a backbone connection between that, but the latency from here to here is not 1 millisecond, it will be more because this is through a WAN connection, wide area network. Your office is here. You are sitting in this office. You can create a VPN connection to this environment. You can do VPN, or you can do direct connect, or you can do many techniques to connect. And you can actually build, let me take a different color. You can actually build a data center for you in this data center, but this is completely owned by you. You manage it. Your team manage it. You as a cloud administrator, you manage that. It is a multi-tenant environment. When we talk about Amazon Cloud, Microsoft Cloud, or any public cloud, it is actually a multi-tenant environment. There are many companies are running servers and things there. But how do you isolate, how do you separate your servers, your network, your infrastructure from others? In order to do that, you need to have a VPC or virtual private cloud. So the first thing you have to do if your company is planning to move, or if you're trying to help your friend's company or a doctor's office or a lawyer's office or a hedge fund company in New York City, you want to migrate them to cloud, you first need to know what a VPC is, how to create a VPC, how do you create and how do you design a data center in Amazon. And that is what we are learning. And once you learn that, just like this, you will be end up in a design like this. And that is what we'll be learning. Okay. So I'm not going to get into the details there. So there are more questions coming. I think I would probably try to answer those things. Will this course be enough for me to get a job in AWS? Do I need to learn anything else? See, if you go, I'm not going to get into that. You just go to dice.com. No, just go to dice and let's do a quick thing. Just do a dice.com, and everybody know dice. and just type AWS Solutions Architect. I'm just typing that. Okay, I don't know, in Philadelphia maybe. We can see how many positions are coming up. Just type AWS, you will see many more positions coming up. So AWS Solution Architect, or AWS. So a lot of companies are looking for, especially in West Coast and New York and all, there is a lot of companies that are actually looking for administrators with AWS. But Mohan, as you said, if you can learn a little bit more Linux and you can learn DevOps, you get better money and more stable job. But AWS itself, this itself can definitely get you a job, but it all depends on how confidently you can talk and things like that. So there are a lot of positions available. It's only I'm looking in Philadelphia, that's the reason. Okay, so you may want to look at New York or other places. You can see a lot of positions coming up. And every company is actually now moving into cloud. As I said, if we are interviewing a person, whether it is a developer or a DBA or anything, the first thing we will be asking is, do you know Amazon Cloud? Because we are moving to cloud, we wanted people who has idea and knowledge in cloud, who has expertise in knowledge, because our guys don't know, so we wanted people to get in. So if I'm hiring a new Windows admin or a VMware admin, I don't want that traditional Windows VMware guy. I need a guy who know Amazon. So think in that way. Okay. All right, guys, quickly, let me just go through this quickly for a few more things. So there are many other things. So we'll be talking about all these management tools, CloudWatch, CloudFormation, CloudTrail, all these things we will be covering. Identity and access management, maybe the main thing where you create users and groups and policies and all that things you learn here. How do you create roles and policies and manage the users? How do you attach it with third-party, multi-factor authentication things, for, how do you protect, RSA key, right? How do you connect? You don't want to log in just with your username and password. You wanted to protect it using multi-factor authentication. How do you do all that? So time is running. There are a lot of things I need to cover here. We will be talking about device farm. Just wanted to talk a little bit about device farm. One of my most interesting topic here. AWS device farm, just read that. AWS device farm enables you to improve the quality of your Android, iOS, and FireOS, quickly, securely testing them in hundreds of real smartphones. So AWS device farm is in fact a big data center Amazon is having in Oregon, a data center full of iPhones and Android phones. Can you imagine? Do you ever think about such a scenario? A data center full of thousands and thousands of iPhones and iPads and Sunfire and all those things are sitting. Why? Because nowadays the biggest activities are happening on mobile application development. In my company, I'll give you an example. We started going with a couple of apps, mobile apps. So our developers developed this application. And now they're going to market this application. How do they test it? So they came to our team. They said, okay, we need 3 iPhones, 2 Android phones. We want that phone, this phone. We bought them around 4 or 5 phones. And now they developed their code using different mobile development tools. And now they started testing these on these phones. I'm sure they didn't even test 10% or not even 5% of the entire phones that are available in the industry. There are people with iOS 5, iOS 6, iOS 7. There are people with iPhone 7 and iPhone 6 and iPhone 3. Did you test it on all these things? Are you sure it is going to work on these things? How easy it is to test. So you need to test. How do you you cannot actually, it is not possible to test your mobile app. So remember, this is your money making engine. You made a mobile application. And if you don't test it properly, just imagine, guys, I develop an application for my training. Okay, guys, you guys all download my app and go and register it. You all downloaded my app from your Apple Store or wherever it is, App Store. And now as soon as you install it, your phone crashes. Do you join my course? Do you ever download my app? Forget about it, phone crashes. It started behaving, slows down your phone. It is taking a lot of memory. It is taking a lot of processing power. Your phone becomes dead slow after installing my app. Do you ever use my app? No. So you need to give the best performance to your end user. How do you make sure that? The only way is to test it. So coming to the point is, AWS Device Farm is a great place. You can go and test your applications from real smartphones. So we will do that in the class. I'll show you how we can test. You can create your application and you can put it on your real phone and you can see them really here, your phones, and they are all separated in a RF protected covers. So one phone will not interact with the other phone. Every phone has GPS, everything is there. Great thing. So we will talk about that. So I'll be covering some stuff in the mobile services. The other things are all building, testing, and creating, monitoring mobile apps, which is not my area. Cognito is all about gaming. If you are designing games and all, you want to learn Cognito. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know those things. But again, even if you are a developer, you probably want to know all these things, how the databases works, how the networking works. So again, I wanted to make it clear that, this course is all about the infrastructure of Amazon Cloud. And this itself is a huge demand. This is called as the infrastructure as a service. So I wanted to move on here from this topic and then we will get, I know there are few more questions here. So I just wanted to take a moment here and show this picture. Cloud, and now we were talking about, I'm not going to talk about Amazon now, we will talk Amazon from the next class. But when people are asking what is cloud? So here is a good example of to show you, cloud. Cloud has, you divide cloud into many parts. You cannot take cloud as a one single piece. So in the past, your on-prem, your data center, your company, your office, your data center, networking, storage, real servers, virtualization technologies, Windows operating system, Linux operating system, middleware like, IBM data power or, process server or WebLogic, Java runtimes, your data and, databases and your application, all these things who manage in your company? You manage, right? Your team manages, your company manages it. But when you go to cloud, there are three major sections to cloud. In fact, this is the first model. This model has now grown way big. There are many more services are there. But at the minimum, one should know what are these three things. And these are the three major sections of cloud. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. The course that I am teaching is primarily focusing on infrastructure as a service, and the Gartner's thing that I showed you here is actually infrastructure as a service, IaaS. You see here on the top, infrastructure as a, that is the Gartner report for that. Okay, so how do you build, so when you look at infrastructure as a service, look at this. The networking part, when I say networking, the real Cisco switches, the real EMC or NetApp storage and that big storage arrays and all, the real physical HP or Dell or IBM or Cisco switches, whether it is Citrix Zen server or VMware ESX, all those things, who manages? Managed by Microsoft here they're saying, or managed by Amazon. This is a picture from Microsoft. So these things are managed by the cloud provider. You will not have any access to these things. In my company, we manage all these things. I have network admins, I have storage admins, I have server admins, but in there you will not have any control on this. What you manage is, when your company decided to go to Amazon, as I said, you create your virtual network using these technologies. You create your VPC, and inside that virtual network you define different networks, again logical networks, and then you install a server, a VM, a virtual machine, and then install an operating system there. So you manage that operating system. If that Windows server is having a problem, if that Linux server is having a problem, patching that server, upgrading that server, all you have to do. On that server, you can install JVM or JBoss, or you can install WebLogic. You can install all that applications there, and runtime data, JVMs, virtual machines, and IIS and all that things you can run, and you can manage it. So in the infrastructure side, you manage everything from operating system and up. This is what my company is now doing. We are using Amazon Cloud as infrastructure as a service. So we build our servers, we install our applications, we manage the runtimes, we manage the data, we have our own database servers, everything we manage. But the underlying platform is managed by Amazon. The next thing is platform as a service, or PaaS. In the platform as a service, as I said earlier, David is going to start a company, and he wanted to develop an application like Uber. He need a .NET platform. He need IIS application, or he need JVMs and stuff like that. David, you don't have to buy the costly SQL server. You don't have to pay for .NET or whatever application, whatever applications, runtime, middleware. You don't have to pay anything. Everything Amazon will give you. You just pay for them. Runtime, middleware, OS, virtualization, everything they give you. You just manage your data and your application. But you have to pay bigger money for it. Amazon has that type of services. You can go and take advantage of. That is what is platform as a service. So for a company like David to start a development company, you don't have to even worry about Windows licenses, IBM licenses, JVMs, nothing. You can just go and say, hey, I need a server with all these things. Amazon will give you a server or many servers with all these things pre-installed. As you use, they will charge you on a hourly basis. Every hour, 10 cents or 15 cents. No capital expenditure, only operational expenditure. Great, you can do that. But when one big company wants to move, they cannot do that. They have to go with IaaS. How many of you heard about another big cloud application that is in the market that is talking about is Workday? Anybody heard about an application called Workday? Anybody?
Yes, Deepu, I heard about Workday's like a human capital management cloud by SAP.
Workday is kind of it's an HR management software, right?
Yes.
Many companies, believe me, that is where changes are happening. This is where you need to understand, many companies had Oracle or PeopleSoft as their PeopleSoft. Everybody know PeopleSoft is a big application that you manage your HR and financial things. Many companies, SAP and things like that. But PeopleSoft, let's take PeopleSoft. That is where many big companies, they manage their HR information complete, your payroll, your time, your patient, your time sheets and things. Everything is managed through PeopleSoft. Companies financial, your salaries and everything is processed through PeopleSoft financials. But you need to install many servers. Your company should have Windows or Linux servers. Then you install PeopleSoft applications. That application has huge SQL or Oracle databases in the backend. Complex environment. There is a PeopleSoft administration team itself is there. They manage that whole thing. whole kind of thing, Windows Server admins, Linux administrators, network, it's a big effort to manage PeopleSoft in this world. Today, there are many companies are offering that entire thing as a service. Workday is a good example for that. Workday is a people management software. Entire thing is managed by the cloud provider. You buy a subscription and you start using it. So for David's company, you don't have to buy PeopleSoft anymore. You don't have to buy any people management software. You go and take Workday, get a subscription. If you're 10 users, they will say, okay, pay me $2 per month. You use our software. It has every feature or maybe more capabilities than your current PeopleSoft can provide. More than that, when David goes to London or he go to Australia or your employees fly to different parts, they can still access it from anywhere in the world because it's in cloud. Just imagine Dropbox is a very good example for a software as a service. Or a Google Drive is a good example for a software as a thing. Google Docs, software as a service. In the past you need Excel and Word and all installed on your Microsoft Office on your computer or a desktop to get Word and Excel. Do you need that anymore? You don't need, right? You don't need any of those things. You just go to Google Drive, Google Docs, and you get everything right from there. Do you need to have a Word installed on your computer to access a Word document anymore? Software as a service. So this is the three major divisions, but the main part is the infrastructure. That is what this course is all about, where you're going to learn about the whole thing. Once you know these things are, you know what it is. Now, apart from this, there are a couple more things that are very, very hot in the market. One is called as DRaaS, which I spend a lot of time now. Disaster recovery as a service. Many cloud providers are offering that. Hey guys, why do you want to build another data center in Atlanta and spend too much money and all? Why don't you just use my infrastructure as a service and replicate all your servers from there to our data centers? We will do your disaster recovery. If your data center has something happens, there's an earthquake happens or a bomb attack happens, you can recover all your applications and servers with unlimited power here. Why don't you use that? DRaaS, disaster recovery as a service, that itself is a huge topic. There are many things. Many companies are into this industry like BlueLock, Zerto, Cloud Endure. There's a lot of companies are providing solutions where you can migrate or replicate your existing servers. Not migrate is the wrong word actually. Replicate your existing databases and servers and data into cloud and protect them there. Geographically, your New York office can replicate everything to Oregon in California, West Coast, and keep it there. If something goes wrong here, you can bring them up, everything there. If you are still afraid, you can even go to Australia and put it there. Yes, of course, you got to pay for it. Disaster recovery is a service. That's another thing. Another big thing is coming up in the industry now is actually called as desktop as a service, DaaS. In 3 years, I'll tell you, this becomes a hot thing. You can build Windows 7 and Windows 10's VMs in Amazon and use them. You don't need to buy users. So your developers or your people, they will all have a small laptop, iPad or a tablet. That's all they have. But their actual development boxes will be in Amazon. Amazon has a product for that, and that product is called Workspace, desktops in the cloud. Another important cloud aspect that is coming up in the industry now is actually called as identity management, IDaaS, identity management as a service, just like, SiteMinder and all, you can go and do that. So there are many storage as a service is coming. So there are many areas are getting defined in cloud. So don't take cloud as one single thing, divide this into many parts. But the most important thing is actually the infrastructure as a cloud, and then you will learn all these things here. Once you learn this, you can probably easily learn. You don't need to go any course or anything. You can automatically understand this and this. You getting what I'm saying? So that's how the cloud goes. So we'll talk more about it. We are running out of time. It's already 11 o'clock. So there's a lot more I wanted to discuss actually, but unfortunately, time permits. But all I can tell you is, if you're taking this class, by the end of this course, I can make you sure that you can confidently talk about the AWS Cloud Infrastructure, and you can say that, okay, I know how to create a data center, how to deploy web servers, how to deploy application servers, how to create databases and manage them, how to secure them, everything in and out on how to manage an Amazon cloud infrastructure. Once you get that feel, you can learn any cloud, but first understanding that cloud platform and understanding how to do all these things, that is the key. So as companies are moving towards it and you gaining this knowledge ahead of time, I'm sure you will be in a better place. For those who are completely beginners, you can still learn this, go to DICE and all, you can still get job, just because many companies are looking for Amazon administrators or Amazon solution admins, because they need people who know how to create networks, how to manage this, because if you do mistakes, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. You are putting your valuable data in the cloud. So security is very important. So you really need to understand how to really protect and secure and give the best performance for your servers, for your applications and your data. So you being an expert in that is definitely outstanding. So that is what I can offer in this class. Now, if you want to get on to automation, okay, now you know the network, now you know how to create servers, now you know what servers to pick, you know which storage to put, you know which network to put. And all these things can be done manually by doing this and all. But if you want to automate that, you need to learn DevOps, which I am not covering. That is another course, Automation in cloud is actually what is DevOps is. So this is the thing, guys, the two courses, as I said, if you go to Google, probably, let me show you that AWS certifications. If you go here, this is the two certifications that I am talking about. You could also, if you are a smart guy and you are really putting passion and interest in it, you can definitely take this also by attending my class. I'm not saying, see, I'm not, and I will be providing you complete course documents. I have these documents here. I will provide you these documents. How to create Amazon VPC. These are all the original course documents. I'll be sharing these documents, and as well as quite some other documents. You can see that I have quite some documents here and other notes that will talk. So I wanted to actually talk about these regions and all together. See, this is US East region, the 3 data centers with the the backbone and things. So we'll talk about all this later. I didn't get time. I thought of talking about all that. So I will share more documents and videos, and I'm sure if you can put some effort, you can definitely take these two certification, and if possible, this one. If you want to become a DevOps engineer, then you need to take AWS Certified DevOps Engineer. This is a course that teach you how to automate the things that I am teaching in Amazon. That is what it is. So first you need to learn the platform, and then other things. Can one take DevOps class without Linux? What do you think? If you know Linux, the DevOps, sure. So that's a good question here, Aaron. DevOps class, it's now going on at DevOps. The next Linux DevOps class is starting in early November. the whole of October. Actually, DevOps class is like 20-30% over. So um, um, if you go to solvensys.com and you go to the trainings, Advanced Linux and DevOps, as I said, these are two separate trainings. Together, we are charging $800 if you take both. If you're taking individual courses, you can, but you got to wait for that class to start. If you're taking individual, that is actually $500. So you can take if you don't. But it is highly recommend to take Linux. If you know Linux, then you don't have to. But you have to be really good in Linux if you want to do DevOps, because everything is happening in Linux. So if you are not good in Linux, I would definitely ask you to take this class, because remember, the person who is taking this class is a Linux guru. He is the man behind this site. Okay. So contact me, Aaron. I will talk about that. So that is it, guys. I hope you guys at least got something. I cannot talk entire things in these 2 hours. Even it's already 2 hours, and I'm continuously talking. But I'm used to it. I used to talk for 3-4 hours. I can non-stop talk. There's a lot, and this is the thing. I am teaching, and every class is different, because students are different, people are different. So I don't know how this is all based on you guys. If you ask more questions, we will get into that and we can go more and more deeper. That is all I can promise. And I teach with a passion, and I put a lot of effort in talking, just like this, keep on talking. And I am trying to share my experience here. I'm not trying to teach. What I know and what I learned and what the industry practice, what is really happening in the industry, that is what I'm trying to share in this class. So this class is actually starting. Today is the start. Already we talked a lot of things. I'm not going to talk these things again. No class tomorrow. My plan is to start this class Tuesday or Wednesday. You will know. You don't need to do any more registration. If you are continuing, just email me. You can email me at take down my email address if you don't mind. You can email me at cherry at dascase.com, or trainings at solvensys.com is also fine. Whatever emails you're getting, you can reply back to that. So this is the email also, you can do that. So mostly the class will be starting on Tuesday, if not Wednesday, because I wanted to give everybody a time to think about it and decide. The payment part, the fee for this class is $600. You can pay it in 2 installments of $300 each. First by the first 2 classes, not today. I'm not saying you have to pay to join the first class. No, you can probably take the next class, but please make sure if you should pay the money by the first class, so the second class, and then the remaining probably after 15 days. Okay. Any other questions, anybody? I just muted everybody because there's a lot of people in this class. So feel free to ask questions if you have anybody. You can open your mic and talk. The classes are from 9 p.m. the same time, Eastern time, 9 p.m. to 10:30, 11. Sometimes it goes to 11, sometimes 10:30, and it will go for probably, I would say 3 weeks to 4 weeks. I might sometimes get some surprise travel and all, but I try to finish it in 3 weeks. The classes are from Sunday to Thursday. No classes on Friday and Saturday. Friday, Saturday, no classes, because this is the 2 days I wanted to spend some time with my family and my personal time. So Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, but this time the class is starting on mostly on Wednesday. If it is Wednesday, then we'll have class on Wednesday and Thursday, and then the next class will be on Sunday. So next week onwards, it will go from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5 days continuous classes, 2 hours each. And then it will go for 3. So the plan is the class is around 30 to 35 hours. 35 hours, I would say. Yeah, but depends on the student. You have more questions, I don't mind going another 5 more hours, 40 hours. So Minhas is asking a question. If I take this class and I really understand the material and if I really study, can I get a job in AWS? Absolutely. You can get a job in AWS if you know the things. Without any prior, okay, you got to do certain things. Now I will help you guys, see, there is a lot of companies out there providing training. Most of them are consulting companies. They provide free food, the trainings and all. Sometimes some companies will take money and they provide training as part of training their bench consultants. That is not the type of class that we are doing. At least my classes, I am teaching you in and out to make you a professional, make you to talk like a professional. So this is a class that will teach you, or whatever I teach, I make sure that you understand, and it is not a runaway type of class, a class with full dedication and covers pretty much very deep. If you follow that correctly, you will be able to answer every question. Not every question, it depends on you, but you should be able to perform the interviews by yourself in a pretty good way. I do have people and I do have students, and we will help you make your resume and we will help you. But a lot of people call and ask me, hey, you give me interview that, I don't want to put that here, but no, that is not something that I do, and I don't want my students to do that. If you learn my class, I'm sure you will be able to do it. So, Minhas, your question is, you don't need any prior experience. You're learning something, and it's a whole new technology. You can start from here and move on, and getting a job and all, there's a luck is always a factor. Even if you are an experienced guy with 10 years, you may not get a job. Sometimes you get a job, So if you know the things and if you know how you can talk, I'm pretty sure you will get a job with this, not with anything else. With Amazon, you can get. Mujahid says is asking, being a NAS engineer, how quick I can adapt? I think it will be very easy for you, because you already know networking, you already know storage, you know servers. Because whether you know or not is irrelevant here, because I start from that very basic concepts. I thought of doing how to create a server and all here today, but unfortunately time is running out. So that's why, guys, I wanted to stop. Otherwise, I can do for an hour, but it's not fair. There are 15, 17 people here, and I don't want to hold everybody. So it was very nice meeting you all. I hope you all enjoyed. So if you guys are interested in continuing, let me know. I will be starting the class most probably on Wednesday. No classes Monday and Tuesday. We will do the next class on Wednesday and continue. Okay. So thank